IT Media Network welcomes you to the following presentation of Section 5 Athletics.
Booster, go. Guidance, go. Vital, go. Retro,
go.
Go.
Go. Oh,
We're going.
It's Saturday, time for high school football.
Hey, I take that as a challenge.
T-10.
Hey, fellas, this is what you work all off season for. This is why you lift all them weights. This is why you do all that.
9.
Every day you build, you put blocks down. You guys ever see a mansion, a big, beautiful mansion? You got to build the foundation, man. That's what we're doing here. Understand that. You got to build the blocks.
8.
In football, to be successful as an individual player, you need your teammates. And the better you connect with them, the better you interact as a team, the more successful you'll be individually.
7.
We played them the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters. That's why we took the field. Now, if you want to crown them, but they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
6.
Fellas, listen up. All you ever asked for is an opportunity. You got it today. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
5.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, get out, because it matters. So you don't quit in sports. You retire. You don't get to quit. It's not an option. Now you can retire. You can do that. But you ain't quit. Not on my watch.
4.
Do your job, be attentive, pay attention to details, and put the team first.
3.
Well, something that I told everybody at the very beginning of the week, I will not tolerate players that think it's about them when it's about the team. Okay, I'm from the old school. I believe this. I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. You cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them. Can't do it. I want winners. I want people that want to win.
2.
Hey, I'm not going to be a real patient guy now.
Ho, 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 ho! Santa Claus is here. Huddle up.
We're not posing for football cards now, offense. We're not posing for football cards. Let's play with some speed.
1.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
0.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun. Whoa!
It's time now for the Countdown to Kickoff pregame show. Now, your host, Joel Oriand.
welcome in, everybody. It is Thursday afternoon football, and thank you so much, football friends, family, and fans, for joining us here at Cuba Rushford as the 0-2 Rebels host the 2-1 Canisteo Greenwood Redskins. The Redskins coming in off of that loss last Friday to the undefeated Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies, 40-7. Had some technical difficulties getting on, so we won't have a chance to get to the Coach's Corner. We will put that up at myteamstream.net. I encourage you to go back and listen to it. I think Coach Donlin had some pretty interesting things to say in the Coach's Corner, so we will post that on YouTube and Facebook and myteamstream.net. And the Rebels are coming in off of a better performance in their second game against Geneseo Mount Morris, losing 28-7. They lost week 1, 59-6 to, as we know, a very good Aggies team. They did a little bit better in that second game. Now, the Rebels have only played 2 games. They essentially had a bye week or an off week because of COVID issues with York Pavilion. So now they don't get points for that because it's a COVID-related game. So that hurts them when it comes to the sectionals, but there's a whole formula for that. Tanner, let's talk about the Redskins. As Coach Donlin said in the Coach's Corner, I don't think the game was as much of a blowout as 40-7. They fumbled. They didn't make it on a couple fourth downs. They scooped and got down to the 1, did the Aggies, and then they punched it in. They scored with 2 minutes to go, did the Aggies. So while it wasn't a great performance, they were able to move the ball. They just couldn't punch it in, and they were having a hard time slowing down Mott.
Yep, me and Coach Donlin were on the same wavelength, because if you watched Tanner's Takeaways on our YouTube page or Facebook or wherever, shameless plug, I said the same thing, is that, the scoreboard wasn't indicative of how close of a game that actually was, because the opportunities were there for CG. On the opening drive, you get deep into a OAE territory, and then you fumble it, and they return it to the 1-yard line, score a touchdown. At the end of half, you're able to force a turnover, get some points out of it, and then you get the ball back at halftime with a chance to make it a one-possession game, and they were just unable to do so. So like Coach Donlin said earlier in the week, those opportunities were there. They just didn't materialize, and they couldn't capitalize on the plays that needed to be made. And then towards the end of the third quarter and then top of the fourth, and as the game went on, I think the defense just got gassed. And then we saw Mott start to rip off a couple big chunks, and that was all she wrote. But the opportunities were there. They just could not capitalize on them, could CG.
They did move the ball, but they were having some injury issues. Their leading rusher on the season, Chase Weeks, went down, but Cole Ferris did a nice job of stepping in.
Yep, he had 8 carries for 31 yards in that game, good for 3.9 yards per carry. And as you mentioned, they did move the ball well. And again, the scoreboard was not indicative of how good CG played. Oakfield, Alabama, Elba, with that potent run game, they had 14 first downs in that game. CG had 11, so they were able to move the ball and at times keep pace with Oakfield, Alabama, Elba. It's just, some inopportune errors popped up, and they were unable to capitalize on, some of the chances they had, but, they still played very well, and they shouldn't feel too bad about that game and the way they played, because the opportunities were there and they were able to move the ball. They just couldn't capitalize, and they just couldn't stop some of the big plays. So while it is a loss on the scoreboard at the end of the day, it was not necessarily a discouraging performance from the Redskins.
The one thing Coach Donlin was a little unhappy with, they didn't run the ball extremely well, but he was very happy with the line and the protection with Rocky, and they were able to get the ball down the field. Another big game for Hunter McCaffrey and Andrew Morling on the outside.
Yep, 3 for 64 for McCaffrey. That's good for 21.3 yards per catch. And then Andrew Morling had 2 for 70, so not a lot of volume, but certainly he made the big plays down the field. At the end of the first half, he had that huge, about a 60-yard reception down the sideline that set up the goal-to-go situation and got CG their only touchdown of the game. So that's going to be another key for this one, is how does that line protect? Are they able to give Rocky enough time to move the ball down the field vertically as they like to do? I assume we'll see a lot of the play-action rollout stuff that they like to do as well. So while last week was a tough loss, a good chance to bounce back here for the Redskins, but they're going to be on defense to start this thing out here. They will be kicking away, so they'll get the ball at half. As we are outside here from Cuba Rushford. It's a beautiful day for Thursday night football. It's just like the NFL season. Never stopped. We got Thursday night football here on the My Team Media Network. The 2-1 Canisteo Greenwood Redskins against the 0-2 Cuba Rushford Rebels. Here is P.J. Otten, looks like, and boy, this looks just like last week. The ball blows off the tee on the opening kickoff. It is a bit windy here.
It didn't seem windy while we were getting ready, but as soon as we went on the air and it was game time, the wind has seemed to kick up off of that lake,
And it's blowing at CG's back here. And now the kick, and we are underway. It's a boomer back inside the 5-yard line. Now fielded, and here goes the returner to around the 20-yard line, and then is converged on. Jackson Crook was in there for Canisteo Greenwood.
Well, let's see how the defense bounced back. Their ego probably a little bit bruised. They had only given up 1 scoring drive through the first 2 weeks, gave up 6 touchdowns last week. They have been opportunistic. 5 sacks in their 3 games, 5 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries, 3 interceptions, and 2 defensive touchdowns.
Very opportunistic defense, and that's part of the reason why they've been so good, is they've been able to force a lot of turnovers and then cashing in. They have a lot of points off of turnovers on the season. So here's Cuba Rushford out on the field for their first crack at it, and right off the bat, we've got a stoppage here.
I think it's a clock issue. I think they're trying to get the clock right here.
So when we get that all sorted out, Cuba Rushford will have it for their first offensive possession here. They are led by senior quarterback Ethan Ricks.
He had the lone touchdown last week, 5-yard touchdown against Geneseo Mount Morris.
Here's Ricks, takes the snap, now gives it up the middle, and nothing doing. A host of Redskins there converge on the ball carrier. That'll make it 2nd down and long here upcoming.
Let's take a look at that defensive line.
To Kickoff, senior, number 50, D-end.
I'm Jacob Mullen, senior, number 72, 3-tech.
Ryder Slayton, senior, number 88, defensive lineman.
Jacob Effingham, junior, number 56, defensive end.
Good to have Ryder Slayton back in the lineup. That'll be a help in the run and pass game. He's their leading pass rusher. Now here is Ethan Ricks, split shotgun here on 2nd down and long. Takes the snap and the give, trying to go off tackle. Good contained by Canisteo Greenwood. The ball carrier is strung out and brought down by Ferris. That's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Here's the linebacking core.
Gary Davis, junior, 20, linebacker.
John Cox, senior, number 32, middle linebacker.
Trevor Mokel, sophomore, number 10.
So you heard Mokel in there at the linebacker position, filling in for the injured Chase Weeks. They've been trying to move people in and out there. Coombs started. He then got injured. They've played Aiden Bird there some as well. Riley Payne has gotten some time.
3rd down and long. Here is Ethan Ricks in the shotgun for Cuba Rushford. Ricks takes the snap, now fakes, and is going to roll left, and he is dropped in the backfield. Ryder Slayton picking up right where he left off in week 2, gets his team-leading 4th sack, and that's going to force a 4th down and long here for Cuba Rushford.
Here's the secondary.
Andrew Morling, senior, number 22. Cole Ferris, junior, number 7. Hunter McCaffrey, junior, number 11, defensive back.
Rocky Santiago, senior, number 3.
Well, they couldn't have started any better as the defense came out, and it looks like they're going to get a 3 and out and should have excellent field position.
And not a lot of room here for the punter to work with, back on his own, in the back of his own end zone, and now we've got a whistle, it looks like, before the snap.
And that was a high snap. He probably was going to get it off, but the punter did a good job of catching that ball over his left shoulder. If that goes out of the back of the end zone, that's a safety.
It looks like a penalty, I believe, against C-G there, so he'll get a little extra real estate to work with on this punt.
Didn't get a 1st down, but now he'll be towards the front of the end zone rather than the back. 5-yard penalty there.
Wind is blowing towards the punter. He's able to get it off, and it's going to take a Cuba Rushford bounce, and it's going to die right at the 45-yard line. So CG will have it in plus territory for their opening offensive possession. Now here comes that offense led by senior signal caller Rocky Santiago.
Let's take a look at those Hog Mollies up front.
Jacob Effingham, junior, number 56, left tackle.
I'm Jacob Mullen, senior, number 72, right guard.
Tommy Booth, junior, number 52, center.
Caleb Kicka, senior, number 50.
Rocky Santiago went 7 of 21 last week for 161 yards, had 5 carries for 15 yards and a rush TD as well. He starts things out under center here. Santiago takes a 5-step drop, now fires deep. McCaffrey has a step. McCaffrey in stride. He's brought down inside the 5-yard line, but right away CG wastes no time letting it fly, and Rocky Santiago hits Hunter McCaffrey deep for the Redskins' 1st down.
And the other guy on that offensive line that wasn't named there in the starters, Troy Stewart. He was one of those big fellas up front, the road graders, that gave Rocky good protection there to be able to get the ball deep downfield.
And that's what CG likes to do. They like to spread the field vertically, and Rocky Santiago
to get over the goal line there.
Now here's Martina Bausch on for the extra point. She kicked it well in warm-ups. Here's the snap. Kick is up and well over top of the uprights. The kick is good, so Martina Bausch completes that drive there with the PAT. After about 4 minutes here in this opening quarter, it is CG 7, Cuba Rushford zip.
We'll be right back on the My Team Media Network.
Looking to rehab a sports-related injury? Want to stop that nagging pain you've had for the past few months? Just eager to get in shape? Maple City Physical Therapy is your home in the Southern Tier to achieve your health and fitness goals. With 10 doctors of physical therapy on staff at 3 convenient locations in Hornell, Andover, and Bath, Maple City Physical Therapy can provide you with cost-effective, personalized care using the most current treatment techniques and technology. To schedule an appointment today, call 607-324-9344.
My Team Media is on Twitter. Follow us at My Team Media. My Team Media is
from Cuba Rushford. 8:33 left in the first quarter. CG wasting no time getting on the scoreboard here. Up 7-0 over the Cuba Rushford Rebels. And again, the ball goes flying off the tee here. It is a bit windy. So now we'll have a holder out there, and Cuba Rushford back to return. Here is the kickoff, much shorter than the opening kickoff, fielded around the 10-yard line, looks like. Now, good return out to about the 35-yard line. That was Trent Chamberlain, the senior wide receiver for the Rebels, on the return. That sets them up with good field position for their second drive of the game. They went 3 and out on their opening possession. Cuba Rushford, through 2 games, only scored 13 offensive points. And they'll have it here. Ethan Ricks, the senior quarterback, in the shotgun for the Rebels. You got 2 receivers on the far side of the field here. Ricks takes the snap, now looks to throw on a quick bubble screen. Here's Trent Chamberlain, and Chamberlain is wrestled down right to the sticks there. Might have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring up looks like he picked up a couple yards. Gain of about 3 yards brings up 2nd down and long for the Rebels. CG, they got off to a fast start, up 7-0 currently. They are not a particularly good team when it comes to first quarter scoring. That's only their 2nd touchdown here in the first quarter on the season. Here is Ethan Ricks coming out split shotgun here on this 2nd down and 7. Ricks takes the snap. Now the handoff goes up the middle and brought down at the 40-yard line. It looks like that's Braden Lavery there on the tackle, on the run, and a host of C-G Redskins there to bring him down. And good sign for C-G. Chase Weeks was in on that last snap, and he's still in there defensively, so we know he got injured last week, but it's good to see him in there getting some snaps. I imagine he'll be on a bit of a pitch count, but still good to see him in there nonetheless. As we've got 3rd down and mid here, about 3rd and 6. Cuba Rushford unable to convert on their first 3rd down of the game. Let's see what they draw up here. It's Ethan Ricks, takes the snap, now fires on a quick slant over the middle. That one is deflected and incomplete. Cole Ferris makes the play, and we'll see how aggressive they'd like to play this one here. And it looks like see Ethan Ricks jogging out onto the field there, so perhaps the offense staying out on the field here as now Hunter McCaffrey comes up. So it looks like they're going to go for it here on this 4th down. On the season, CG is allowing an opponent 4th down conversion percentage of 0. 0 for 3 are CG's opponents on 4th down this year. Let's see if Cuba Rushford can break that. Here is Ricks, drops back to pass, fires. That one is incomplete. Him and Trent Chamberlain not on the same page, so a turnover on downs for Cuba Rushford. CG's going to have it with another short field. They were able to make quick work of that Cuba Rushford defense on their last possession, a defense that has allowed 87 points through 2 games, and CG made it look like it there on that opening possession. Send Andrew Morling in motion, and Santiago's going to roll right, steps up in the pocket, now fires deep. He's got McCaffrey laying out, and just off the fingertips of Hunter McCaffrey. Could not reel that one in, but they almost had another big hookup there. A lot of that was hampered by going 2 for 12 on third downs last week. Here's Santiago in the shotgun, takes the snap. Now he's going to roll left. Rocky looking, fires short, caught by McCaffrey. McCaffrey makes a man miss, and Hunter McCaffrey breaking tackles. McCaffrey down just shy of the 15-yard line, where he's got a Canisteo Greenwood first down, their second of the game. Rocky Santiago, as always, he was looking deep on that play, but then didn't have anything, so brought his eyes down to the flat, hit Hunter McCaffrey, and he was able to pick up some nice yards after the catch there and set C-G up with a first down. And they have it in the red zone here. Chase Weeks in the backfield. Jonathan Cox goes in motion. Santiago under center. The give is to Weeks, and he is corralled in the backfield. Chase Weeks, no room to roam there. He picks up maybe a yard. He got thrown forward, if anything, on the tackle, so that makes it second down and long upcoming for Canisteo. As we approach 5.5 minutes left here in the first quarter, C-G going 2 wide receivers on the far side of the field. Santiago under center. Chase Weeks is the back. Morling goes in motion. Now they pitch it to Morling on a reverse, and Andrew Morling trying to get to the edge, and he's able to do so. Morling thrown down at about the 10-yard line. He's going to be short of a first down by a couple yards. Brings up third down for Canisteo Greenwood. They converted their first down of the game earlier in this drive. That makes them now 13 for 32 on third downs this year. And a issue with the clock here. There we go. Now it's moving. Third down and short here for Canisteo Greenwood. Santiago under center. They give it to Weeks, running off tackle. Chase Weeks.
Back on the My Team Media Network.
When you think about car buying, what comes to mind?
Rows and rows of overpriced vehicles decorated with balloons and grease paint, and a sweaty sales guy in a suit offering you a bag of popcorn in exchange for your tax.
Colebrook Auto, or stop by Monday through Friday between 9 and 5 at 3556 State Route 414 in Corning. And remember, Colebrook Auto, one location, one person, zero pressure.
Hi, this is Steve Donlin. You're listening to C-G Football on My Team Media Network.
And booming kick goes inside the end zone here. Now the return, we've got a whistle down, but I misspoke there at the beginning of the game for Canisteo Greenwood. Looks like PJ Otten is not out there, so instead handling the kickoff specialist duty, it is Aiden Bird, number 33 out there, and boy, he's got quite a leg on him as he sent that one back into the end zone, did the same on the opening kickoff as well. So Cuba Rushford here for their third offensive possession. They will have the ball at the 20-yard line. They haven't been able to muster much in this game. We'll see if they can get something going here, but they got a long field ahead of them. Don't believe so. If it did, then Cuba Rushford was able to fall on it and recover, but that play, either way, goes for a loss of yards. And now Cuba Rushford takes a timeout here as they have just not been in sync offensively. So while they take a timeout, we want to let you know that Canisteo Greenwood football on the My Team Media Network is brought to you by the Hartman Agency in Canisteo. They offer a wide variety of insurance policies, both personal and commercial, ensuring you get the coverage you need at an affordable price. The Rexville Country Store, they have your everyday grocery and food needs located at 13 1364 State Route 248 in Rexville. Open Wednesday through Sunday. They go hog wild when CG wins. Maple City Physical Therapy, your home in the Southern Tier for all things health and fitness. They can help you achieve your health and fitness goals with cost-effective, personalized care at any of their 3 convenient locations in Hornell, Andover, and Bath. And Colebrook Auto at 3656 State Route 414 in Corning for high-quality, hand-picked, pre-owned vehicles. Online at colebrookauto.com and on Facebook. 1 location, 1 person, 0 pressure. A true deal is what they will give you. Timeout, Cuba Rushford. We've got 4:18 left here in this first quarter, and they have not gotten off to a good start here offensively. And I was intrigued to see how Cuba Rushford was going to come out in this one because, you know, they were supposed to have 3 games coming into this, but they didn't play York Pavilion because of some COVID issues, which could be a curse or a blessing depending on how you look at it. It's, you know, good in the sense that they're well rested, but I was interested to see if they'd come out and maybe looked a little rusty or sloppy or out of sync because they just haven't had the same amount of in-game snaps that CG has had, and so far it's been the latter. Here's Ethan Ricks in the shotgun here on this 2nd and long, and lost the ball, has to pick it up and now just fires it there over the head of his intended receiver, and a flag comes out. I wonder if they're going to get Ricks here for intentional grounding. I'm not sure he got the ball back to the line of scrimmage, but either way, that was just a Herculean effort there by Ethan Ricks to just get on that loose ball and chuck it away to avoid CG coming up with the recovery here. And now a turn of a 2nd down and about 11 here at the 31-yard line, we'll call it, for Cuba Rushford. Here is Ethan Ricks coming out in the shotgun. And Ricks takes the snap, fires it quickly, and nice play there. Coming up, I believe that is Caleb Kitka there making the play, and it is indeed, as they try to get a little swing pass there to Braden Lavery, but Caleb Kitka saw that one and wasn't falling for it, and Cuba Rushford moving backwards here. They're going to have a 3rd down and long from about the 25-yard line. CG pitching a shutout so far on 3rd downs. Cuba Rushford is 0 for 2, and they got to get at least some yardage here to make it a more manageable punt, assuming that's what they want to do. Here is split shotgun look for Ethan Ricks here on 3rd down. Takes the snap now, fires, and that one is incomplete, well short of the intended target, Trent Chamberlain. That's been Ethan Ricks' favorite target so far today, but unable to hook up right there. So that brings up a 4th down and long, and this is probably a prime punting position here for Cuba Rushford. And they will punt here on this 4th down and long. It looks like the quarterback, Ethan Ricks, doubles as the punter as well. Hunter McCaffrey is the deep man for Canisteo Greenwood. Ricks boots it away, goes high up in the air, and the wind caught that one, but it's still going to take a bit of a Cuba Rushford bounce there. So Canisteo Greenwood will have it at Cuba Rushford's, we'll call it 35-yard line. So great field position again here for CG. That's their 3rd drive in a row. All 3 drives they've had the benefit of starting with a short field. And what a start it's been here for Canisteo Greenwood. 3 possessions, well, excuse me, before not counting this one, 2 possessions, 2 red zone trips, 2 touchdowns. Let's see if they can keep it going here. It's good to see after all the miscues last week, CG seemingly firing on all cylinders. As here is Rocky Santiago in the shotgun on this 1st down. Ferris motions from the slot to the backfield. Now Santiago gonna keep it, and Rocky darts up the middle. He's got a 1st down and more. Santiago finally pushed out of bounds there right before the 10-yard line, but in Cuba Rushford, where C-G is in total control. It's kind of like the inverse of the Oakfield, Alabama game last week. C-G got off to a less than stellar start, but here they've been pretty much flawless. Here's Aiden Bird to boot it deep, and this one back around the 5-yard line. So Aiden Bird doing a great job here, pinch hitting, or pinch kicking, we should say, for Otten. And the return by Trent Chamberlain goes to the 20-yard line. So here's Cuba Rushford out for their 4th possession now, I believe, and they have done pretty much nothing on their first 3 possessions. I am not entirely certain at this point in the game if they have any positive yards gained. I believe they might be negative net yards at this point. Just pretty anemic on offense here. They got to get something going if they want to stick around, especially with the way CG's playing in this one out of the gate. They'll have it at the 20-yard line here. 3 receivers out wide. Ethan Ricks in the split shotgun, and looks like CG going press coverage here across the board with one-eye safety. Here is Ricks on a little quarterback keeper, and he is wrapped up. I believe Ryder Slayton was the first person to get to him, and then Jacob Mullen was able to come in and finish the job. But CG called about 3rd and 12 here with 1:32 left to go in this first quarter. Here is Ethan Ricks in the shotgun. And before the play starts, we got a bunch of laundry down on the field, and Cuba Rushford going to move back 5 yards. Looks like a false start. Oh, and it seems like every offensive play they've ran has moved backwards. Now, that certainly doesn't help the cause. A penalty will move them back 5 yards, and they'll have a 3rd down and very long here. And this CG defense has been suffocating here, particularly on 3rd downs. Cuba Rushford 0 for 3. And this may be the longest one they faced all game. Here is Ricks in the shotgun, 2 backs. Takes the snap, now drops back, fires, and that one is intercepted. Hunter McCaffrey takes it away. Now McCaffrey racing up the sidelines. McCaffrey is pushed out around the goal line, and you've got a flag down where the tackle was made, it looks like. So for the moment, an interception and a beautiful run back by Hunter McCaffrey.
We talked about it in the pregame. This has been a pretty opportunistic defense. They've forced 5 fumbles. They've recovered 6 of them. They have 3 interceptions coming into this game.
And Hunter McCaffrey, shades of week 1. He's got a receiving touchdown and now an interception as well.
Coming into this game, the Redskins +6 in the giveaway takeaway category, and that's always a good category to be in the plus side. A lot of coaches refer to that stat. You can't win a lot of games if you're giving the ball over a lot.
And it looks like the penalty is going to be assessed on CG on the run back. So the interception will stand, but the field position won't be as good. They still have it inside the red zone, where they are 3 for 3 today. The Weeks from inside the 5-yard line. Looks like we'll call it about a 3-yard rush. But just no room to work with here in the run game. And then on the last possession, Hunter McCaffrey came away with an interception. So let's see what Cuba Rushford can dial up here on this possession. Here is Ethan Ricks in the shotgun. And Ricks, high snap, goes over his head, and Ethan Ricks is able to pick it up, but then he is dropped for a big loss on the play. Jacob Evingham came up and finally finished him off. That snap just a little high over the head of Ricks, but good job by him hustling, getting back on that thing, and preventing another takeaway there for Canisteo Greenwood.
can tell this Redskins defense has come out a little bit fired up after.
Second quarter as Cuba Rushford now moving right to left, as you can see on the screen. Maybe they'll have some better luck this quarter, unable to do really anything on offense here.
Well on their way to their season high of 50 points at this rate.
Here is Ethan Ricks on a little shovel pass, and again strung out to the sidelines and brought down there, as it's going to be third and about a country mile here on this upcoming attempt.
The Rebels just seem to have be stuck deep in their end. They just have not been able to have a lot of good field position, mostly because that's the Redskins are scoring and they're kicking off. And so the Rebels are starting out, you know, if we had the stat for their average starting position, it would not be very good. And then on the flip side, because of that, the Redskins starting field position has been excellent.
I believe they've started every drive in Cuba Rushford territory. Here we go. We got third and about a million here. Ethan Ricks comes out under left. Now Santiago fires across his body. McCaffrey wide open, and he strolls into the end zone. My goodness. That's a 45-yard touchdown pass. Rocky Santiago to McCaffrey. That's his second. And boy, that was some Mahomes magic right there. Rocky Santiago rolls left and rifles it across his body, and McCaffrey is wide open. And he strolls into the end zone. 35-zip here, top of the second.
Well, and I said that's a difficult pass for a righty going left. He didn't even set and plant. He was almost falling away. So Redskins. Kale Mumm, Byron Burgeon sits at 2-1. Geneseo Mount Morris sits at 2-1. So it is my guess, and the Redskins will play Geneseo Mount Morris. So one of those teams will at least have 2 losses. Kale Mumm, they are 2-1, and they play Notre Dame Batavia and Clyde Savannah. They get a bye because of Lions, so technically they're 3-1. So in my opinion, there's 5 teams. This game, maybe they're looking at the Geneseo Mount Morris game, but they have certainly not overlooked this Rebels team.
Second down and long. Here is Ricks with the give, and now getting to the sidelines there.